In this video, I will be looking at the top 5 most strange or surprising results from battles. This list is not going to cover any of the particular battles in great detail, so if you want to learn more about any single campaign or battle I talk about in this video, then do some more thorough research afterwards. This list also won't necessarily be in order of which one's the most surprising, as it's quite difficult to judge levels of surprisingness. Finally, I'll probably forget some very important ones, so please tell me all of the ways in which I've horribly blundered in this video in the comments. Okay, with that said, number 5 is the conquest of Persia. Not by a random Macedonian man, as you might be thinking I was about to say, but rather by the early caliphate, under such great generals as Khalid ibn al-Walid. The rise of the early caliphate was accomplished with such speed and against such odds that it definitely deserves a place on this list. I know that you could say that Persia was internally weak at this point, which makes it less impressive, but just the fact that a massive political entity which had existed for centuries could be wiped off the map so quickly by a completely new kingdom is really extraordinary to me. Number 4 are the immediate victories achieved by the German army during Operation Barbarossa against the Soviet Union in World War II. I understand that the Soviets had a really weak military and that they'd been crippled by Stalin's purges and poor military doctrine relying on offensive strategy, but the fact that the disorganized and infighting mess that was the German military high command could get so far into Russia and defeat so many Russian soldiers just seems ridiculous to me. Right, number 3. It has to be the fact that Austria-Hungary somehow managed to get beaten up by Serbia. I mean, how does a great power like Austria-Hungary manage to lose to Serbia? I understand that there were military weaknesses in Austria-Hungary and that was the reason, and the fact that their military was incompetent. But they still lost to Serbia, which is a complete embarrassment. The best bit is that they never even managed to defeat Serbia by themselves. They had to rely on German and Bulgarian support, which makes this defeat even more ridiculous. Number 2 is the way in which the Kingdom of Italy managed to lose to Ethiopia, which I think might be even more embarrassing than losing to Serbia. The Ethiopians were technologically much worse, and although the Italian army was no effective military machine, there was no way they should have suffered such a pathetic defeat. To be fair though, I shouldn't blame this all on Italian military incompetence, because the Ethiopian soldiers and commanders fought very well throughout this campaign, and they were very determined in their defence. Finally, the last surprising outcome to a battle in history on this video is the Polish victory at the Vistula, referred to as the Miracle at the Vistula. The battle was a massive final gamble of the Polish army to defend Warsaw from the Russians. They gambled that they could outflank the Russians using diversionary attacks across the Vistula, and an outflanking manoeuvre relying on the fact that the Russian cavalry nearby would not react in time. The Russians really should have won this battle, especially because they had cavalry that could have intervened. But the Poles made a gamble, and it worked completely. The Russian armies were set into disorderly flight, and the Polish army stood victorious. This victory seemed so extraordinary to the people living in Warsaw that they actually attributed it to divine intervention, hence Miracle at the Vistula. Well, this has been my video on the most strange or surprising or embarrassing outcomes to battles. There will be more videos coming soon. For now, Valete et Ave SPQR.